Welcome back to the show. We are now pleased to continue our series on a unique historical figure, Sherman Adams, the Yankee governor.
I would have no difficulty suggesting that he could have lived a contented life as a lumber executive in the North Country right into his late 80s. But I think that he got exposed to something that excited him because he could see that you could do things with government. And he had, again, an active personality. So for someone who likes to do things, government is an opportunity.
In those days, by tradition, speakers of the House served only one term. At the end of his term, Adams was encouraged to run for governor, but he himself did not feel experienced enough for the post. Instead, he looked to Washington. New Hampshire's 2nd District Congressman, Foster Stearns, had decided to run for the Senate, and Adams decided to seek Stearns' seat in the Congress. In a 4-way primary, he tallied 68% of the vote and went on to an easy win over his Democratic rival in November. In Congress, Adams supported bills creating a permanent House Committee on Un-American Activities, an end to poll taxes, and exemption of railroads from antitrust actions. He was one of 30 young Republican congressmen who vowed to express their own views on major matters and not allow party leaders to speak for them. But Adams was not really happy. In December 1945, less than 1 year after his arrival in Washington, he decided to run for governor of New Hampshire, challenging Republican incumbent Charles Dale.
Sherman Adams was a very righteous individual. He not only went to church every Sunday, but he followed the precepts of the standards of those days, which was very high. And I think he felt that some of the people who were in high office before him did not necessarily follow those kind of standards.
There is a sense of laxness, a sense of laissez-faire, and for that matter, a sense of get what you can out of the system. And there was a lot of petty corruption. There was a lot of malfeasance or misfeasance, and there was even more a sense of work 2 or 3 hours and read the Concord Monitor in the afternoon when it's delivered.
Adams waged an aggressive campaign, laying out his platform in a series of weekly radio addresses. But he was challenging more than Charles Dale. He was challenging tradition. When a governor wanted a second term, his party was supposed to let him have it. Adams countered by saying Dale had promised to serve only 1 term. It wasn't enough. Dale won the primary by slightly more than 200 votes. A recount changed the totals, but not the outcome. Adams had lost. Word on the grapevine was that Governor Dale had been helped by a heavy turnout from the Portsmouth Cemetery.
It is alleged that the Dale forces were able to go through some of the older tabulations of voting registration in certain parts of Rockingham County and declared some individuals eligible for a vote who were not any longer here, and the ballot box reflected a vote of somewhere around 300 or 400 that were questionable votes. And
Adams wanted to challenge the results in court, but in the interest of party unity, finally accepted defeat.
And the arrangement that was decided upon by the power brokers and the Republican Party was that if Sherman Adams did not further contest the election of Mr. Dale, that there was a promised strategy left that Sherman Adams would be subsequently have an opportunity to seek office without opposition from Mr. Dale or anybody else if he chose to do so.
In the 1948 race for governor, Adams had only token opposition in the primary and in November beat his Democratic rival by 11,000 votes. In January 1949, the woodsman from Lincoln became governor of New Hampshire.
We hope you're enjoying this special series on Sherman Adams. If you'd like to own a DVD of this 7-part series, please call our office at 603-648-2870. Tune in next week as we continue our series on Governor Adams. When we return, I'll wrap up our weekday edition of KVM with some highlights coming up on our weekend show starting this Friday morning. So stay with us.